Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truth channel. How's everybody doing this evening? Hope you're doing well. Well, tonight's live stream, since I bashed Trump so bad yesterday over the no Epstein list, okay? But to be fair, I'm going to flip the coin and I'm going to do a video about what he's doing good, which would be ICE. Anytime I see people on horseback enforcing the law, that's just Marshall Dillon stuff to me. I'm loving it. So that's what the live stream is going to be on tonight. So anyway, I hope we all have a great time with it. But anyway, I got to sit there and spend a little bit, let some people show up. But I see some people have shown up. But anyway. Things are getting pretty crazy in this world, though. So, hey, Carol, how's it going? Glad to see you. Don't be afraid to use that blue wrench tonight, all right? And I will get some more moderators in here to help you guys out. So, hopefully, we get the moderators in. That'll sit there and keep these people away. I tell you what, the shorts I made today, the few shorts I made, I tell you what, my buddy Jeff doesn't like them. He don't like those shorts I made today. I don't know why. They seem fine to me, but they're not getting a lot of play time, you know. So whatever. Well, it'll come around. But I thought they were pretty interesting. That's one thing about my channel. Check out the other content. There's a variety of stuff. Everything from dogs to horses to beautiful wild animals that you see just in their natural environment, you know, shots that take people hours to get. I just happened to be driving my car by the area, hit the brakes and back up, and there I go. I have a question about your service. What did you join? Because you look man. Oh. Thanks, Carol. I mean, can you believe this stuff? I appreciate you, okay? Because this is the stuff, you know, I need to have an intelligent conversation here. This country's got problems, and that's one of the problems. You know, it's amazing. YouTube can't figure out how to get rid of them people. But anybody who sits there and says stuff they don't agree with, you know, whatever. I'm just sick of the childish behavior. You know, I wasn't allowed to act that. This is elementary stuff. I wasn't allowed to act that way when I was a teenager. And believe me, as somebody in my late 50s, I'm not going to deal with it. Anyway, so, but, anyway, everybody's got to behave, Dad. So, I think my daughter's on here. She said something. But anyway, let's get into the subject, okay? Trump doing what I agree with, the ICE raids, okay? I mean, I like how Tom Homan said that the sheriffs and stuff in the counties that are helping, you know, assisting us, we don't have to send a lot of people there, okay? Because the local officials and stuff are cooperating with ICE and they're getting the problem solved, okay? So they ain't got to send a lot of assets there. But, you know, to LA and stuff, oh, I loved it. I love seeing those horses. I mean, when I first saw it, I'm looking at those riders, and I'm like, is this a parade? Because they were dressed up like knights. I mean, stuff all over the horses to protect the horses and stuff. I mean, it looked medieval, to be honest with you. It actually looked medieval, but it was cool. And then, you know, after doing the double take and I see what's going on and stuff. But yeah, Trump's not kidding with the immigration stuff. And the easiest thing about it is all these people have to do is leave. They can go to their first cop they find and say, hey, I'm an illegal. I'm ready to go home. Can you help me get there? And they could have a problem. They won't even send them to Alligator Alcatraz. Now, if you're not wanted in a house and you get message that you're not wanted in the house, you leave, right? Your natural instincts is, I'm not getting good vibes here. You leave, right? These people need to realize that the Democrats are no longer have the presidency. They don't have the House and they don't have the Senate. It's not like a lot's getting done there except the big, beautiful bills, right? But this wokeness is going away. And Trump is doing a lot to protect American citizenship. It's given away too freely. Anchor babies and stuff. If you're born here, you're an American citizen. Okay, that's fine. But your parents aren't. So they still got to go home, and they can either leave you here as an American citizen or they can take you with them, and that makes you a dual citizen. But just because you're a dual citizen doesn't mean get rid of him, Carol. Just because he's a dual citizen doesn't mean Carol, you there? Get rid of that son of a bitch. We got the little piece. Just get him completely off the chat. Erase it. You have manager, moderators powers there. Get him completely off the chat. Erase him completely. I mean, what a childish piece of shit. This is what we're dealing with. That piece of shit would never show his face. Not in a million years would he show his freaking face. Let me see if I can do something with this piece of shit. I'm just going to report you, Joey. What should I put him under? Harassing and bullying. Report. So anyway, yep, we got some guy in here that's just a work of art. I just can't seem to anyway. So here he is again. Everybody sit there and say hi to Joey. Joey's looking for attention. He's calling everybody his neighbor. That's what he means by N-word. He's saying, I love you all, neighbors. I can't wait to to know all of you neighbors because I'm just the most friendliest guy in the world. So this is what you have to deal with adult children in this world. And when adults get together, I can't imagine even a boardroom where you got to deal with people like that. I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, get rid of him, okay? He's a piece of shit, liberal, piece of garbage. Okay? And this is the garbage we got to deal with. This is the garbage sane, intelligent adults have to deal with. Childish, he's probably a 45-year-old guy living in his mama's basement, and he just happened to get off the porn channels to come back online and be a pain in the ass. Anyway, that's Joey. That's your basic liberal these days. See, these are the people we're supposed to be like, right? That are on antidepressants, antipsychotics, and they still can't get enough. So anyway, maybe Google will get in here and I know we can't get rid of him. I can't axe his ass. Whatever, Joey. I'm trying to have an intelligent conversation about what Trump did right. And obviously this piece of shit needs to be deported too. All you people that hate America, get the hell out. There's plenty of communist goddamn countries you can go to that you can run into the ground. When America takes its country back, these pieces of shit are going to learn. When it comes to these ICE protests, if they're stupid enough to get into a road, a highway, and sit in it and close it, run them over. After one day of, 1,000 of them getting killed, they'll stop. Just like after 9/11. No terrorists could have took over a plane then, could they? because they learned their lesson. People learned their lesson. This is nothing but a guy who's sitting in the middle of the road trying to sit there and impede progress, trying to get there so we can't get the truth out and shit. Somebody, YouTube, I bet you any money, pays to do it. Oh, yes, I did say YouTube pays you, doesn't he, Joey, to do this? That's how sick and twisted my best friend Jeffrey is. That he would sit there and, what happened to you, Joey? Did I speak the truth? There you go. Don't want to lose you, boy. Yeah, YouTube pays these trolls to do this shit. YouTube pays people to ruin their business. Hey, Jeffrey, you just got married the other weekend. You're going to need all the money you can when she divorces you. All right? So you better play it smart. I tell you what, just download Truth Social, no censorship. The thing is, this isn't censorship. YouTube, my channel, has blossomed. And this is why YouTube's got this piece of shit troll in here, and they're paying them to try to interrupt my progress on my channel. My channel's grown in leaps and bounds because people want to hear what I have to hear. I mean, when I get a 14-second short, that's almost up to 50,000 views and just getting subscribers up the ass off of it. Well, what's that tell you? People want to hear this. Yeah, Carol, just keep working on it till you can get rid of them, okay? Let Joey have his fun. Let nobody get a comment in. And maybe this is the stuff, right? If a conservative did this on a liberal channel, he would be acts like that. Acts like that. Like if he got on a liberal channel and started doing this shit about alligator Alcatraz, Google would be in there like, that axe in his ass. But see, this is just fine. But don't worry, Joey. When all shit hits the fan, you can sit there on your keyboard and, it's not working no more. Mommy, can I have my peanut butter and jelly toast with the Skittles with the crust cut off, please? I mean, that's the type of person that's there. Imagine the biggest, fattest piece of shit slob that never got laid in their life, has no ambition, living at home. You know, when mommy dies, they're going to die shortly after because they can't take care of themselves. These are the people that's Joey. Okay? And what do you do about it? The guy's not even embarrassed. And then now he's got his friends in here too. Shows you where my best friend Jeffrey's morals are at. Remember, morality before reality? So anyway, hey, this channel will never ask for money or donations. And it'll sit there and make sure I can do my best to help out people like Joey. But if you want to support the channel, you hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification like Joey has, because Joey's a subscriber. God, he's subscribed so he can just come here and be an asshole and show everybody that he's a complete moron. See, this is the thing what happened when they got rid of teasing. If he would have got teased in school, he wouldn't be a moron now. His attitude would teasing adjust. I'm not saying it's all great, okay, because there are bullies out there. But a little teasing to change somebody's reflection on life, if you want to say it, doesn't hurt a single bit. Okay? And like I say, YouTube pays these people to do this shit so they can sit in mommy's basement and do it. That's how pathetic our country's gotten. You know, I'm in my late 50s, right? And I walk through Walmart, and I'm looking at these younger boys, you know, from about 10 to 16, and looking at them and saying, they're going to replace me? They're going to replace me? Not one's in shape. Not one has any muscle tone. They're all hanging out in the electronics department, not the sporting goods department. I understand why women are turning lesbian, because there's no men to choose from no more. Mom, go get me a sandwich and hurry up. Sorry, I meant to text that to my mom. That's so go. Oh, there's Joey again. What do you do? See, the thing is, if they were face to face with you, you could sit there, put him down. He probably has a skateboard with him. But see, you could correct the problem. But you got Joey piece of shit in here. I mean, this is what it's like dealing with these liberals, okay? I got a short about that. Trying to communicate with a liberal. None of it makes sense to them. I mean, you got these people that ICE is enforcing the Constitution, doing the job the government's required to do, enforce our borders, okay? Secure our borders. Not for nothing, but wouldn't be telling the world you're walking through the Walmart looking at. I know how it sounds. Okay, I know it. But see, in today's world, who twists everything into a sexual thing? No, it's talking about the generations that are supposed to be replacing us, the ones that are supposed to be building our roads and building our houses. No, I'm not a sick, twisted piece of shit. I'm not on the Epstein list. Oh, I'm sorry. That list doesn't exist. But that was last night's video. Anyway, whatever. You can't even sit there and talk without somebody taking it the most derogatory way. I'm not saying you did. But I'm trying to bring the truth out. These younger boys are not turning into men. Men like me that went into the service and served the country and did hard, back-breaking labor. I still do it today. To maintain this strong country, we need strong men to do it. Joey's back again. He is such, I'm telling you, the younger generation is so screwed. This is what you got to deal with. What's he ever going to amount to society? Except, paying his subscriptions to his Hulu or Netflix and buying his video games off of the internet. What's he going to do? What's he do? Does he do anything to help raise the food for this country? Oh, that's why we need illegals in this country, right? To make sure we get fed every time and stuff. I don't think so. I do them jobs. And I don't need somebody coming up from here illegally or somebody coming from a foreign country like South Africa. And I'm not talking about the 59 that came here to live here. I'm talking about the hundreds of thousands that are in here to hey, I tell you what, does somebody else out there want to be a moderator so we can give Joey a little competition here? Somebody want to be a moderator, go ahead and sit there and type in, and we'll have an intelligent conversation. You stuck to your once was your sound like you're crying. Oh, whatever. We're never going to get the problem solved in this country when we can't even sit there and have an open discussion on a YouTube without people doing the old insult job. Is that what people sit there and wait for all day so they can get on YouTube and insult people? This is the thing. Have your channel. You have a right to believe how you want. Start up your own channel and get on there in front of them like Joey should. Hey, Joey, I'd even come to your channel and I'd be respectful. So I tell you what, if you start up a channel, I'd like to see it. Anyway, I'm looking, if anybody wants to be a moderator, help out with Joey here. Goodbye, hater. Please use more proper pronouns. Proper pronouns. What are them? I'm sorry. I grew up before the Twilight Zone was issued to the United States, where we all moved into the Twilight Zone. I was born before then, raised before then, went to school before then. So I'm not changing, especially when, like I say, All these people that think they're so smart, when they go through school and they've never been told they were wrong and they don't even know who we won our independence from, their writing's atrocious. They can't do cursive. They can't do simple math. But these, and they're all on antipsychotics and antidepressants. But this is the generation we're supposed to listen to. I don't get where they see that, okay? They don't understand the way things were. When we were young, we were taught if you want something in this world, the world's not fair. You got to make it as fair as possible. If you want something, you're going to have to earn it, right? And the baby boomers were the successful. The country was growing in leaps and bounds financially back then. But all these younger generation want what their grandparents want right now. They didn't realize that their grandparents sat there and raised kids and went through what I call the years in the trenches for people. When you rear your children, you work your ass off, you never have enough money, and you're running everywhere, but you seem to get through those years, okay? And then the kids get out, and all of a sudden you have money. Isn't it amazing how that works? All of a sudden you start having money. And you start being able to save and buy nice things. You're still able to put a lot of money in the bank and put towards retirement. After years and decades of working. But this younger generation wants it. Give it to me right now. Well, what the hell are you going to have when you're 60? Because you're not going to turn that $10 million that you were given into $100 million. You're going to turn it into, you'll turn that 10 million into probably 40 million in debt, then lose everything, and then be on social services. They say a millionaire can give $100,000 to 9 people, and he keeps $100,000 for himself, a smart rich man. And within 3 years, everybody else will be broke, and he'll have $1 million again. Isn't that true? You can give these people everything they want. It's not going to help them out. It's not going to make them a better person. It's not going to make them more ambitious. And it's not going to make them happy. It's just going to create them so they can exist. Okay? And that's all. They just exist. You have no purpose in life except waiting for your EBT card to get filled and your whatever card they put their money on nowadays. Racist, 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 racist. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Just because I don't agree with you? The thing is, when I meet somebody, I don't see race. I love all these people that I'm not a racist, but somebody's main characteristic that defines everything about them, I think is their race. But I'm not the racist. That's the first thing I see about somebody. That's how I judge somebody. But I'm not the racist. See how these people think? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what color you are, what nationality you are. And frankly, since we're letting illegal aliens in, hell, let's let a few Martians in. As long as you're willing to work hard. And none of us, all nationalities and colors, all working together, they're doing hard labor. Nobody seems to have a problem with the other person. Like I say, I live in a part of the world where this racism and unfair treatment doesn't exist. A slave would come through a time machine right now, and he would look at the African Americans and look at them and say, "You're fucking kidding me? You think you don't? They got the same rights we do. Tell me what right a black man doesn't have that a white man has. What right? Oh, I know what right they don't have. The right to sit there and think. They've been told this. Now, I'm not saying you don't have racist people. White, black, Oriental, Mexican. Name which race doesn't have its racist people. Okay? But I'm Irish. How'd the Irish get treated when they first came over here? How'd the Chinese get treated when they were building our railroads? How did the Native American get treated? Where you could just shoot one and get away with it and nobody cared. I guarantee you, if you killed somebody's slave, you were going to pay. So obviously a slave was worth more than a Native American. Sorry to sit there and tell you the truth to that whole thing. And all about the reparations payment, let's see. My forefathers died in the Civil War. If the Civil War was about freeing the slaves, they fought on the side of the North, out of Minnesota. So that would mean that my forefathers died freeing the slaves. So what kind of payments do I get? Anyway, this is what you deal with. This is the mental illness of the other side. You can't fix it. I always say that the human race is dividing into two species. In liberalism, and the pharmaceutical companies with all their injections and all this shit have taken some humans this way. While the rest of us are still in the Homo sapien, doing good and everything, everybody's got their brains. But, you know, there's an offshoot. Okay, these people are getting violent. I mean, when you're an adult and you start beating up a car because you don't like the guy who manufactured the car, but you like the idea for it, but you don't like the guy who did it. So you start destroying cars. This is the type of people we're dealing with. Hey there, seems like you're... Anyway, but see, they expect racism to shut you down. Sorry, I don't shut up for nobody. You ain't going to shut me down because I'm not a racist. I accept everybody for who they are. I judge them on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Boy, who said that? Now we all base it on, hey, I need special rights because of the color of my skin. I don't remember Martin Luther King saying that. You know, but anyway, shit on the guy that gave the black civil rights. Just shit on him. Whatever. Government killed him anyway. But anyway, I tell you what, it's just dealing with these people. I don't know how you handle in the big city. In the big city, I wouldn't be scared of the crook with the gun because he wants to go rob a store. I would be scared because I've seen some videos of the fruitcakes that are just on the street that are definitely not mentally right. It would be hard for me to turn my back on these people. I would have alert status crazy. Okay, my third eye would be going and I'd probably have a fourth eye back in my head. I don't know how, I mean, the craziness, it's just, and then the people hopped out on drugs and stuff. I don't know how people put up with that. Joey ain't even shit compared to those people. He's not even a little leaguer compared to those people. He's just some guy who gets on YouTube chats and sits there and becomes a nuisance. These people are scary. At least Joey gets paid by YouTube to do it. So he's doing his job. So, you know, Jeffrey needs all the help he can get to make sure that the word's all spread, right? But these people are beyond scary. I mean, you don't know what they're hiding. Hell, they could be hiding a needle or something. I mean, then I hear about, what's that drug that's going crazy that can kill you? Just a little drop of it can kill you. I can't even remember. There's so much crazy shit. It's the newest thing. I can't remember. I know it should be at the top of my head. But the crazy shit. I mean, what people in the city have to put up with, the average taxpayer who goes to work every morning, oh my God, and has to deal with this on a daily basis. See, I don't know what it's like to be like that. I don't know what it's like to live in that type of condition. Because like I say, I live in an area where I don't even have to lock my door. I can leave for 2 weeks, don't even have to lock my door. Where the hell is that? Traditional America still exists. And, it's great. Hey, I'm sorry, everybody in the chat about Joey, but we're trying to figure out how to get him off here. We're still learning the moderator stuff, so he's going to get to have his little fun. Remember, Google wants him to do that. Remember, these are the people that want me to shut up so you can't hear me. And this is the devil has sent many demons after me, okay, Joey? And a few of them I had in the corner reading their Bible after a couple of days. So, you wouldn't want to spend any time with me, serious time with me. Because we'd work our asses off for one thing. But and fentanyl, that's what it is. Crazy shit. I just heard some crazy shit about that stuff. But I mean, this is what I did that video about pleasures of the flesh. If your purpose is to serve your pleasures of the flesh, it will consume your flesh. The devil's playground is your flesh. And I'm not saying that you can't enjoy life. Make love to your wife and stuff like that. Okay? But, all these people, they get addicted to sex. They're married, but they get addicted to sex, so they figure they can have sex with a bunch of other people. Well, it's crazy time. Okay? As long as I got a few people here, this channel will never ask for money or donations or sell anything, because I hate channels that sell like infomercial. But if you want to support the channel, hit the thumbs up, the like, and the subscribe button and the bell notification to help out get this channel to spread. I'd really appreciate it. Legal immigrants. Okay, yeah. See, this is the thing with immigration. We got a way to come in here legally. It's not like we said, nobody can ever come into this country. We got a way to do it legally. So why the hell did we let people do it illegally? And why did we even, in our right minds, our politicians, sit there and give money to people that did it illegally? As they were coming across, whatever. And now it's just become an atmosphere where it doesn't matter anymore. And then if you stand up for enforcing the law, I'm still pissed about Trump not releasing the Epstein list, because there's a lot of criminals that need to go to jail. A lot of bad people all over the world that need to go to jail. Royal families to world leaders to CEO, business execs and everything. Hollywood. But this is something Trump's doing right. And they sit there and say, well, we got to deport 7,000 illegals a day to get rid of everybody. Like I say, ask the American people to help out. Ask them to sit there and assist by giving them a bounty, even if it's $500 a person. Let them clean up their towns. Let them clean up their counties. Give their areas, they can get rid of them and then take them somewhere and they get paid as they leave. Let Americans make some money off this shit. And it'd be a lot cheaper than what the government, the $160 billion they got, and it all get done in a week. Because there wouldn't be that many left, okay? Because after a couple of days, they'd all be packing up and leaving. If they didn't only have to worry about ICE, but they had to worry about anybody that knew they were illegal. And they could get money if they turned them in. This is called solving the problem. Americans have sucked it up for too much. Way too much. We have spent way too much money on illegal immigration. Way too much money on wars. How about do you do that? Okay, I can name an Asian one, ancient Japanese. All those who are European descent are technically illegally here. Okay, if you want to say in today's world, and if you're Mexican, then that would mean that you're Spanish now, wouldn't it? Europe colonized all of South Africa, Central America, and North America. Okay? So all you people that are darker complected than me want to get on your high horse? Really? Aztec, Incas, I don't see them in power anymore. I mean, I remember the Spaniards coming over here and killing a lot of them because they didn't want to convert to Christianity. You want to talk about history? How far do you want to go back? History is a wrong subject to talk about me, okay? So all you Spaniards south of the border, don't forget where your ancestors came from. It's amazing that everybody wants to come and colonize the country. Yeah, English or Spanish. The thing is, we were the dumping ground. Remember that. This is where they sent the people. Yeah, some people came here because it was better, but this is where they dumped a lot of the criminals and stuff because they didn't want them over there in their precious Europe. We're the trash. No shit. But the one who got screwed in the end was the Native American, North American, Central American, and South American Native, okay? Not anybody of European descent. But you know what? That's the way it was back then. You want to go back then, go through a time machine and try to change slavery? How about you try to get over your racism first? Okay, you want to help things out? Get over your flaws. Anyway, anything to pass the buck. Everybody's unhappy, and it was all of us from the past. I didn't live back then. And I realized from the beginning of time that man has made a lot of mistakes. Like I say, how far back do you want to go and start correcting mistakes? Should we go back to the Israelites being slaves of the Egyptians? I mean, we could go back there. Or all the slaves that the Roman Empire had? I mean, what the hell? Where do we stop? I mean, that's a problem with liberal logic. It's all emotional. There's no logic to it. The original legal alien is a white man here. Right? But, back then, we didn't have borders and immigration and shit when this was founded. Like I say, you can't change the past. You can't. All you can do is learn from it and make sure that history doesn't repeat itself. That would be a good thing to learn, right? Good thing to do. That's why I'm YouTube, trying to spread the truth, trying to get people to listen, trying to get in your heads. To sit there and make sure we don't make the same mistakes. We're going down the same path of Rome, and nobody even cares. Okay? We are seeing, I am not racist. My brothers are white. One of them, may rest in peace, passed away, and my other brother's in prison, and shit still breaks my heart. Liberal logic is oxymoron. It doesn't make sense. Okay, they'll sit there and say they love socialism and fight for socialism because that's freedom. How can the government telling you what to do, how to think and stuff be freedom? Because don't they know when the communists really all take over, you're going to get a universal basic income, and you're going to work some job, and everybody's going to be equal at the bottom. Nobody's going to have a car, okay? And you're all going to live in the same apartment, have the same toilet paper, watch the same TV shows. That's freedom? So much for your Netflix. So much for watching. I don't even know what kind of shows they got on it now. But back when my kids were growing up and having to watching that stupid Shameless. God, every time I walked in the room and they were watching that, it had to be in some retarded scene. Then I'm like, are you kidding me? This is what TV's gone to? And I'm sure it's even worse now. What about the rich who just got $1 trillion in tax breaks? Well, bad thing. Okay? Like you want to do my short I did today? Think I agree with that? I'm a constitutional conservative. So obviously I'm not happy with any party. But the short I said is every time the government's got to open its belt, every time the government passes a big, beautiful bill and has to loosen its belt because of it gorged on us, I said this, however I said it. And the taxpayer's got to tighten his belt, but the problem is there's no more smaller belts. I hate the government spending money. The government needs to downsize drastically. We could save all that money that we take to run the government, and we could sit there and pay off the national debt. Another thing, he wants to change the Department of Defense to the Department of War, which I agree with. But we're not technically at war right now, right? So there's no reason that the Department of War would need $1 trillion plus this year if we're not at war. That's why I wanted to sit there and name it a Department of War. That means when we're at war, their budget goes up. When we're not at war, we're running a peacetime budget, which should surely be half of that. Okay? Maybe we should stop supporting all these wars everywhere so the military-industrial complex can get even richer. We blame the brown in your eyes, ate it up. Anyway, but yeah, it's getting crazy. I mean, we can't even have our government enforcing law. Our government breaks enough laws and screws us over enough. And this is what the American people wanted. Get rid of them. And obviously at first, they got rid of the hardened criminals. And now they're going after all of them. And like my brother lives in Omaha, and they had some meatpacking plants there get raided. And he said the next day there were lines, they never were short help. They messed up Cloud Seeding Texas. I don't know what the hell happened there. I can't believe you don't get a warning for that. It's localized. A lot of weird stuff like that, okay? Just another thing we got to sit there and be worried about. Be worried about if you're in the floodplain. Be worried about if your place that could all of a sudden go up into a massive fire. I mean, you can't even hide from hurricanes in the mountains of the Carolinas. I mean, that was 400 miles west of the coast. Who in western North Carolina or South Carolina thinks they're going to get hit with a hurricane? I don't care what the conspiracy theories are. It's just another thing that's not right, and you need to make sure you're prepared for it. I don't know how you prepare for a lot of that stuff, but anyway. Yeah, times are crazy. But this like I say, I was slamming Trump pretty bad last night. And like I say, I got to see ICE on horses, dressed up like knights, with the horses dressed up like knights. And if you watch any of my shorts, you see I have horses, okay? I love riding. I'm a cowboy. And that just, great. Feels great. God darn right we need to clean up this shit. I mean, these people would rather come to our country and live in the tent in the park than go back home. Obviously, they're not here to make the country better. They're not even ambitious to go get a job. They're just ambitious enough to become a leech. Damn right they need to go back home. Anyway, but just a problem we've had for years. If we start enforcing the Constitution and stop trying to become a democracy and, oh, I feel bad for them people. That's the worst thing that could ever happen to them. What, they're breaking the law. What law are you allowed to break? You got to make sure you wear your seatbelt all the time. What law are you allowed to break? Get away with it. Not have to worry about no repercussions. Mexico is helping with the floods at Texas. Should they leave? Yes, they're illegal. Do you understand that? Anytime you allow lawlessness, I tell you what, if you're for illegal immigration and you're mad at Trump because he won't release the Epstein files, really? You mean your sense of lawlessness is just a little bit moral than his? We need to become a nation of laws again, like our founding fathers created, not a nation of men, meaning that everybody is subject to the law equally, no matter what your status is. Anyway, the ABCs is the Guadalupe River, like January 6th. That was just, oh, there you are. Like January 6th. What exactly was January? It was a protest. And then you had BLM and Antifa and FBI instigators in there starting problems in the police attack. And then they're walking little old ladies through the Capitol and they're arresting them, right? Yeah, within 100 days, it didn't have a problem. Biden didn't have a problem rounding them up, did he? We need to enforce our laws, exactly, just like we are subject to them. I mean, you got a light out in your vehicle, you're going to get pulled over. It gives them a reason to pull you over. But if you got a light out and you're an illegal, you get let loose. How the hell does that happen in this country? Have Americans become that soft? I mean, that's nothing but a whoop pup. Did Elon also lie and stay in the States? I don't know. I'm sure he's a legal citizen. There's lots of legal South Africans in this country. There's over 100,000 of them working in the agriculture industry alone. I've worked with quite a few. And those legal citizens have to go through the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and pay for a medical policy, a health insurance policy, in case they get hurt while they're here. And they don't get no money for that. Boy, big difference, isn't there? And they come here to help feed lazy-ass Americans. But I'm still against it. Elon's brother's recording on record starting that they came here illegally. I don't know. See, you're going on what somebody says. So that means you don't know shit. You got it? Anyway, that's how I feel about that. All right, you can sit there and go and believe all your bad stuff, hate Elon Musk, and think he's the most terrible person in the world. Well, that's good. He employs a lot of people, pays a lot of taxes. You know, making leaps and bounds in the space industry. Maybe help get us on Mars. I don't know, and he's a smart guy. You know, you want to be jealous of the richest man in the world just because he's rich? That's how low you can go. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But personally, the guy never did nothing to me. And he went to Washington, D.C. and did exactly what the American people wanted him to do. It's the administration that disappoints us. Anyway, I hope everybody's enjoying this live stream tonight. I tell you what, Joey hasn't been around for a while. I don't know if Google's in here now or not. Anyway, but I just can't wait until we have no illegals in this country. You know, one thing about Elon Musk is he's in for this, was it 1B or whatever, some number for this allows these people to come in and work here. Why don't we get rid of the Health and Human Services Department and put Americans back to work? And then when Americans start getting their first paycheck, they'll start, oh, I'm happy. This is my money. I don't have to fill out no paperwork. Nobody's got to tell me what I can do with it, right? When you start feeling independent, you're never going to let somebody put the cuffs on you again. And that's one thing about America. Too many of us have been independent for too long. And the only way they can take this country over is to brainwash the younger generation, dumb them down so bad that they'll sit there and take to the streets and support illegal immigration. All because, well, you're tearing families away from each other. No, just leave. Almost like we should be taxing the hell out of the billionaires. No, this is the thing, what we need to do. I'll tell you what we need to do with the federal tax system. We need to go to a 10% federal tax. And you say, well, that wouldn't make no sense. First thing, how much money could a company that has 500 employees save from not having to deal with the IRS? Okay, how much money would they save? A lot. For one thing, they could get every employee a 10% raise overnight. Not a problem. Your pay should be between you and your boss and nobody else. And then the government puts a 10% sales tax on things. Why not? It's fair. Because a person like me who spends $600 about a month, $600 to $700 a month, ain't going to pay shit in taxes. But somebody who likes spending money, well, you're going to pay a shitload. Sound fair to you? There's no reason they should be able to spend us making our money and spending our money. See, the thing is, too, if they can't make you tax you spending your money, that means you can put money away in an IRA, in the bank, savings account, whatever, and they can't tax it. Trump said he was going to do it with the IRS. Said he was going to do it away with the Department of Education. Said he's going to do it away with the FBI. Well, since they can't even sit there and see there's an Epstein list, yeah, it's time for them to go. But don't worry, they can tell somebody like me saying a bad word on YouTube. They can pinpoint the time and second I did that. If I were to do a crime, they can tell me exactly the route I took. But somebody who does all these spam and these scams that go on, they can't find the people doing that. Nope, they can't trace that down. You know why? Because the CIA is probably doing 75% of them. Am I wrong, CIA? FBI getting a little action in there too? Do a little bit of action or ripping off the American people? Using some patsies to do it? Some patsies that could easily disappear? Just like the guy in Idaho, that 20-year-old that shot the police officers. I wonder if somebody was actually with him and maybe shot him, or maybe a couple people, and they shot him before they took off. I don't know. Just a theory. I'm not going nowhere with that. It's just a theory. But that sure has become hush-hush, hasn't it? Americans, was better in the 50s when taxes were higher. We don't need taxes. You know, if you're making more money, you're going to spend more money. And the government would realize that they would bring in more money. But they'll never try it. Anyway, everybody says, oh, I got a tax break. Ooh, cool. I got a tax break. The government said, they're not going to steal as much money from me. Yay! And people get excited about that. And it's amazing with the Republican side. Hey, as long as it's Trump adding to the deficit, it's good to go. Because I was told by a politician in the 90s, when I first started getting into politics and was thinking about it. And he told me that all they care about in the presidency is who gets to control the money for the 4 years. So Trump's just spending as much money as Biden. He's just spending it on different things. Ones that Republicans find important. See how politics works? Wings of the same bird? So anytime you sit there and get mad at a Republican politician, make sure you get mad at his Democrat counterpart, because they're all the same. Good cop, bad cop. And all we got is a bunch of emotional children in the world that like to sit there and listen to the good cop. Vote for Bernie. No, no way. I ain't going to vote for any man that sits there and goes to the Soviet Union for his honeymoon. Sorry. And I'm not going to vote for anybody who's a communist and sits there and lives better than 90% of most Americans. Okay, I'm not voting for a politician like that no more. I am not voting for the lesser of two evils no more. When a candidate comes around and realizes what type form of government we have, a constitutional republic, and starts talking about a constitutional republic, and I never hear the word democracy come out of his face, okay? And he's a good moral constitutional conservative, a George Washington type. Until then, don't tell me I don't have a right to bitch if I don't vote, okay? People learn their lesson, and I learned my lesson. No Epstein list. No people are gonna go down for committing the most heinous crimes alive. Just imagine if your child was kidnapped and was never found or heard from again. Imagine what would be going through your head. Don't worry ever again. Anyway, like I say, this channel will never ask for money or donations or sell anything. But if you want to help support the channel, hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification so you can be back for all my live streams and get notified of all of my content. I put out a lot of content every day, a lot of content. Some of it's shorts, most of it's shorts, but a lot of content. And, content that may upset people. I don't really care. If I'm not allowed to speak my piece, then I don't live in the country that I grew up in. This is what we were taught in school. You want to be heard, speak up. Not when you were children. Children don't talk until they're spoken to, okay? But when you got older, you want to sit there and express your opinion, you need to sit there and open your mouth. And then the other ones, weren't allowed to sit there and act like absolute retards and interrupt you. Like try to be that guy that's sitting in the middle of the road clogging traffic. We'd never have to deal with this. You would get run over here. Like I say, I live in traditional America. It still exists. Leave it to Beaverland, basically. Your kid goes out in trouble, you can tell him, hey, you get out in trouble in town, don't worry about it. I'll hear about it before you get home. That part of America still exists, but we happen to live in a county of less than 2,000 people. That's why. We live in the most, this stretch through America is the most least populated in America. And this is a big county compared to some of the ones I've been working in. So anyway, that's why I like living the good life. That's why I don't understand a lot of these problems. That's why I can't understand these people acting like I don't have to deal with people that are on antidepressants or antidepressants, antipsychotics or antidepressants. I deal with clear thinking alpha males. Alpha males. And it doesn't matter what your political persuasion you are. We all go to work, we work. We have to work together, and we all work our asses off. And everybody supports each other. Just because you disagree with them politically isn't no big deal around here. How come it's tearing the cities up? Thank you for serving in the military. Not a problem. Yes, I was in the Marine Corps. My first tour was the second term of President Reagan, most of it. And then I was in during Bush, and then the first year of Clinton, when he downsized the military so much, and it didn't matter what your record book looked like, I got a thank you. Said name Marine denied reenlistment due to force reduction. Said name Marine is authorized severance pay. Thank you for your service. That's what my message said. Yep, ran like a big business. That's why when all these people got laid off, these government workers recently, I didn't care. Because you got severance pay just like I did. And guess what? They didn't care about us. There were guys that had 18 years in that got the shaft. 2 years from retirement. And they got denied reenlistment and severance pay. Yeah, they got a nice sum. Really, compared to retirement, you're looking at guys that were going to take their retirement, run up to Alaska and live out in the woods. So you fought for the Jews and big oil wigs in the Middle East. See, derogatory statements. No, I fought for America. It's just that American politicians were really starting to be misled back then. In service, you do what you're told. You don't think about it much because you're just in it. You do it every day. It's part of your job. You get up and you do whatever it is, whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning when you got to leave the ship on the choppers and stuff to do your shit or whatever. You just do it. It's when you get out and you start thinking about it. You know, I don't want war, but if you want to bring war upon me and try to take my nation away with me, I will give you war. Speak your mind, my brother. I'm trying not to go Alex Jones, okay? Because I can go Alex Jones pretty easy, especially in today's world. But the thing is, we all got to suck it up. We're all in this sinking ship together. And once the liberals figure out that, yes, you're on this sinking ship just like we are, and it's going to affect you, just like the conservatives, GMOs, don't even get me into that, because I'm in the agriculture industry. Don't even get me into that. But once we realize we're all on the sinking ship together, maybe we can bond together. They stop listening to Jacqueline Crockett saying you need to hate your enemy because they're a wrong color and he drives a nicer car than you. And really, he's trying to keep you down, even though he's waving to you and smiling at you every day and saying good morning. He's really trying to keep you down. Who do you think's trying to keep you down? We refuse to come together as a people. I remember September 12th, 2001. We were one people, no matter what color you were, or no matter what nationality you were, no matter what political persuasion you were, we were all Americans. And 24 years later, all we want to do is shoot each other. Now tell me, do you think our politicians might have something to do with it? Do you think there may be some ulterior purpose that they're using useful idiots for? Do you think it's possible? Hey, thanks for doing such great work tonight, Carol. Carol Prince is my longest subscriber back when I had my original channel, Low Wolf Prepper. And she's quite the gal, North Carolina gal. And she'll put the old blue wrench down on you. Complete faith and trust in her. Anyway, she's been with me a long time. You know, she's been waiting a long time for my channel to explode like this. And I'm glad she's here to help me. But we need to come here and have a coherent conversation between liberals and conservatives, just like we used to. I mean, it's crazy thinking back, living in a time where people actually got along, where all this partisanship and political correctness and bullshit wasn't here. I mean, you watch some movies from the 80s, a lot of them are going to be illegal in a few years. The comedies. Holy cow. I mean, watching Hee Haw and stuff. I don't even know what it's like to be a comedian these days. You couldn't even be funny. You can't say anything. We need a people's party. We need a constitutional party. It needs to be called the Constitutional Party. And remember with the Tea Party? See, once it took over, once it started, people started coming in, flocking in, and then they sat there, the damn moles, the big money and stuff came in and took it over and disintegrated. How much money do you think the big money took to pay that they invested to get rid of the Tea Party? How much money? $100 billion, or, well, let's be realistic, $20 billion to eradicate the Tea Party? And they'll do the same to another party. Unless we have somebody who can't be tempted by money, tempted by sex, tempted by drugs, who lives a simple life, who just wants to make America great again. It can't be bought, looks at these sons of bitches and say, yes, I'm going to release the Epstein list because you criminals are going to pay. We may suffer. The world may suffer for a while. But in order to fix the problems we have, we got to sit there and we got to expose them. These people need to be exposed. Everything from King Charles to P. Diddy. Okay? We need to become a land of laws again. We need to sit there and stop trying to turn our constitutional republic into a democracy. And that's the thing with this democracy thing too, right? You got your Democrat democracy and your Republican democracy. Well, wait a second. I see you're wearing those sex offender glasses. Oh, I tell you what, I guess he switched his thing. All the hate and discontent in this world. How do you deal with it? All I know is these people hate who they see in the mirror every day. They're absolutely miserable with themselves. They never accomplish nothing. They have no ability or faith in themselves. This is the thing about a liberal, why they need the government for everything. Because they have no faith in their abilities to succeed on their own. They always need help. And they're always so emotional. Okay? And they come on and say stupid things. You can't get away from them. They're trying to sit there and say, what do I got? A bunch of people here that aren't saying stupid shit. And you got a couple that are saying stupid shit. Who do you think the majority is? The first time that I heard the term, he's trying to convince he's trying to show, how does he say it? He's trying to convince people that the screaming minority is the majority. And that's what these people are doing. They're screaming really loud, acting like a bunch of idiots, trying to get all the attention. But they're the minority, trying to get people to think they're the majority. If they're the majority, how come all of a sudden all your ICE protests have, or maybe because USA ain't got no money and they threaten to go after the people that were funding it? I think they need to go after the people and expose them and then fine the shit out of them. If they don't want to pay the fine, confiscate their assets. Where I heard it first was when I was watching a history documentary on the Third Reich. And it was a diplomat of the Third Reich that was saying it. Yes, trying to convince the people that the screaming minority is the majority. I don't see none of your kind around me. Ever. Ever. You're like Bigfoot, an animal that I hear about, but I never see. You would never survive out here. You guys are the shadow dwellers of the city. Okay? Anyway, I'm happy that Trump is doing the ICE job. I wish he'd asked the American public for help and we could get this done a lot cheaper and a lot faster. Like I say, a week to 10 days, there wouldn't be illegal left in this country. Canada might have a lot of them. A lot of them may go south of the border, but there ain't going to be nothing in between no more. Okay? The law isn't meant, to sit there and get all emotional and, well, they're allowed to break this because they got a hard luck story that's just okay. Bullshit. Bullshit. I love my country. I don't have a problem with people who come here legally and become American citizens. I knew one was South African. 5 years he took him to become a citizen. But he's an American citizen now. Proud of it. A proud American citizen. And the one thing about South Africa, you can't have dual citizenship. So he gave up his country's citizenship to become an American. Why can't we get people like that? And he works a job, pays taxes, is not a leech on society. raising his kids right, got a wonderful American wife, have a beautiful family. He's more American than a lot of Americans I see. Because you know what? That was his dream. And what do you think it's like for him to see the country that he became a citizen of start to turn into the country that it came from? You know, I wish America, a lot of Americans could see the real world like I have, and a lot of people that come here to escape what they're coming from. Not to sit there and bring what they're coming from, to sit there and victimize American people and utilize our system to make it by for a few years. That's why I know there's good foreigners out there, but there's a legal way of doing it. And since Trump is basically expanding the workers program, just apply for the workers program. All you got to do is go through the Department of Agriculture, Department of Homeland Security, the FBI check, and pay for your own medical policy. And then you can feel good about coming here. And then one thing about it, though, with your visa, you break a single rule, you're out of here. That's another thing about these people that come here legally, especially with these work visas. They do something wrong or break their visa, except if, I guess, if you're going to throw gasoline on Jews and light them on fire. Sounds like somebody was brought here and trained, but you get sent home. The law is enforced on you harder than it is on us. You know, I often told these people, I said, hell, I tell you what, you fly down to Mexico City, get up to the border, I'll drive down and pick you up. You're going to get a bunch of money when you come through the border. That'll pay for our trip, and we'll have money for a while. I mean, and that's what people were doing. Coming across the border, sneaking back the other way, come back the next day and making money that way. God, this is what happens when the government hands out too much money. Okay? The government shouldn't be somebody walking through a parade, in a parade, tossing money out the car. Okay? We need to get rid of this mentality. We live in a country that's great. That, you know, we have intelligent, you know, this country was the mightiest this world has ever known, and we've fallen since then. But we need to bring that country back, okay? And the better, anyway, it's time to put Americans to work. Just like a guy down at the 7-Eleven selling his hole. People. Can you imagine how sick you got to be when I'm talking about illegal immigration and you got people on here making stupid, obscene sexual comments? Can you imagine the lowest form of life form possible? Well, there they are. Boy, whatever, dude. They're everywhere. I tell you what. Can you imagine? These people can't get hired, right? I'm a personnel manager. I call this person in for an interview, Joey. I call Joey in for an interview. And I'm a personnel manager, and Joey comes in front of me and tries to feed me a line of bullshit like he's a hard worker. He knows all this shit. And I'm like looking at him, shaking my head. This guy's a loser. This guy will do nothing but cost the company money, plus getting his paycheck. He'll cost the company extra money with his absolute retarded shit. Immigrants make this country. We built this country. Legal immigrants. You got that? Should we go back to the way it was when we had Ellis Island? Should we go back to the way immigration was then? Do you know how strict immigration was then? Should we go back to those days? Hell, you guys would think that was going back to slavery. See, they don't know history. Ellis Island steps were set up a certain way so doctors could see the people walking up the steps, and they would pick out the people that were not healthy. Do you want that again? I mean, we got wonder why we got all these diseases breaking out all over this country. Well, no shit. You're letting these people. When we came back from overseas, we had to stop and row to Spain, and we had to clean the ship from ship front to back, inside and out. And the Department of Agriculture would come there and inspect the ship before we could go back over the Atlantic to make sure we weren't bringing nothing across. Okay, and we're allowed, and that's military. Now, can you imagine coming across our border with all these diseases, nobody stopping you? You don't have to go through any checkpoints, getting a check, going wherever you want, and infecting the rest of the world. Oh, but I guess the pharmaceutical companies, that'll probably help them out a bunch, won't it? The Spanish came over, banged. Yeah, he isn't saying. I'm sorry for the people that really want to hear lives. The thing is, all these people subscribe to my channel. Can you imagine hating somebody and being so hate-filled that you subscribe to their channel just so you can come on there and be a troll? And I mean, they help my analytics out so much with the comments, time I'm being viewed, okay, all this stuff, and the hate and discontent they're trying to create. You know, Joey, you're helping, all these people are helping promote my channel like you wouldn't believe. I mean, have you seen it grow lately? This is the thing. You want some help in a ridiculous situation? That's a normal situation for a liberal to sit there and do their thing. Anyway, just like no King's Day, Independence Day. No shit. Boy, when did they learn that? On July 4th? I learned that in kindergarten. No King's Day. Oh, we told the king to get fucked? Okay, I understand. But then again, they would not have a problem at all kissing their favorite king's ass. That would be King Charles. Remember all the liberal mass media coverage of his coronation? No King's Day though, right? Well, you guys can be logical one day and not logical another day, but it doesn't matter. You still don't have any brains. You can't help but laugh and feel sorry for these people. And this is nothing. This is what happens when mental illness doesn't get treated. This is what happens when you don't get told, hey, you're a little bit off your rocker. I realize everybody sits there and tells me that on my channel. That's cool. I would say that most Marines are a little nuts. Yeah. Comes with the territory, don't know what to tell you. Maybe you should go to boot camp and experience it. Well, I don't know about boot camp today. It might be a little soft. I don't know. It could be getting a lot harder, but I don't know where they're going to draw the NCOs from. The NCOs are what is the backbone of the military. And, you know, NCOs now you would have had, well, some of them when Trump was in his first term, but you're going to have a lot of junior corporals and stuff, or corporals that are from the new military, you might say. The new style one, you know, where, hey, you don't know what you got between your legs. What do you want for a uniform? Oh, I'm sorry. We don't have a woman's uniform in a 48 chest, but we'll get one for you. I can't even imagine what military hospitals look like during the Joe Biden administration. They probably built an extra wing to every hospital just to handle the transgender surgeries. No woke in military. No, how do you do it? It doesn't even go together. You can't be a woke person in the military, okay? Not saying all military people think the same, but, you know, you can't be woke in the military. It goes against all customs and courtesies of the military completely. Doesn't jive. And there's no way. I lived in open squad bays when I was in. community showers, no stalls between the shitters. Okay? Do you think you could handle that with somebody who's transgender? They couldn't have done the shit they did anyway. I don't care how hardcore they thought they were. It takes more than, oh, I think I could do that. That looks easy. Until actually you're doing it. Oh, you mean, oh, I'm sorry, you should erase that. He's talking about Nancy Pelosi's husband. That's who he was talking about. He screwed up the name. What's that, Nancy Pelosi's husband with the hammer party, painting and stuff at 2 a.m? Yeah, that's what he was talking about. I'd love to know the truth behind that. How sick and twisted that night was. Woo! If that's what happens to you when you start getting a lot of money, I don't ever want to be more than poor and humble, okay? I want to keep my brains and whatever. But yeah, he was talking about Nancy Pelosi's husband. Like I say, I'm talking about ice. I don't know, what could I talk about to maybe change their mind? I don't know, since we're a while into this, let's change the subject to Bigfoot hunting. Let's see what they got to say about Bigfoot hunting. One day I want to go do that. I want to go on a serious Bigfoot expedition with horse and a pack mule out in the middle of nowhere. See, the closer I've ridden out, far away from where people don't go. When you're on a horse, especially when you're on a horse and you don't make no movements and stuff, the animals don't see you right away. They see the horse. So one thing, if you can shoot off a horse, hunting is extremely easy. I don't think Bigfoot would be that way, but I want to get out there in the sticks, okay? I can't wait to make some videos then. Can't wait to see what the liberal trolls have to say about that. Maybe they can say some sexual joke about that. But this is where our country's gone. Sodom and Gomorrah. Anyway, hey, you must be getting a little horny. You better go watch some more of your porn videos. Like I say, all they do is make my channel grow bigger. Can't wait to see how many views I had and stuff tonight. Anyway, like I say, go back into it. If you want to help support the channel, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and bell notification, because the channel will never ask for money or sell anything or ask for donations. That's not what this channel is about. It's about telling the truth, no matter who it upsets. Or my version of the truth, okay? It's a little world I live in, okay? The world I grew up in and stuff. So, anyway, that's Hidden Truths. But I enjoy everybody. I thank everybody for being here tonight and supporting the channel. Because, like I say, we're all in this sinking ship together. And when everybody finds that out, when everybody stops listening to the band playing and seeing the ass end of the ship come up and thinking, we ain't got much more time. Hey, everybody, how can my neighbor help me? How can we all work together, bond together, and make things happen? How can we turn it? What's going to happen for Americans to think like they did on September 12th, 2001? What's it going to take? Anyway, because right now, something like September 11th wouldn't even do half that. Wouldn't bond the people like that. Hell, we'd find some reason to fight about politically over that. So I can't wait to see what the next day of infamy that's going to happen, brought by our politicians, that the Americans are going to have to endure, that are going to bring Americans together. Did everybody get that? Anyway, that's what I'm going to end on tonight. Everybody have a great night. Even Joey and all you other trolls, you got a place here. Anyway, everybody have a great night. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.